Evelyn walked through the school gates the next morning, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. After her conversations with Ryan, she felt like a new chapter was opening in her life, but as she stepped into the hallway, she quickly noticed something was off. Everywhere she looked, students were staring, whispering to each other, and shooting her glances filled with disdain or pity. Confused, Evelyn kept her head down and made her way to her classroom. She barely had a moment to set down her bag before Laura appeared in front of her, flanked by her usual group of friends, their faces smug and mocking. Without warning, Laura threw a rolled-up newspaper at Evelyn, hitting her squarely in the chest. "Take a look," Laura sneered, her voice loud enough for the entire class to hear. "Ryan started talking to you for just 2 days and now he's been arrested for selling illegal substances. Can't you see you're cursed?" Evelyn's hands trembled as she picked up the newspaper and unrolled it. Her eyes scanned the headline, "Local Teen Arrested in Connection with Illegal Substance Distribution." There, beneath the bold letters, was a photo of Ryan, his face pale, being led out of a garage by police. She felt the blood drain from her face, and her mind went blank. How could this be true? She had just seen Ryan yesterday, had talked to him about the book, and felt the connection they were building. She couldn't reconcile the boy who had handed her his favorite novel with someone involved in something like this. "Speechless, huh?" Laura smirked, folding her arms. "Thought so. Maybe you'll think twice before ruining someone's life next time." Just as Evelyn opened her mouth to respond, she felt a hand grab her arm. It was Sarah, her face filled with a mix of worry and determination. "Come on," Sarah muttered, pulling Evelyn out of the classroom and into the quieter hallway. She didn't say anything at first, only stopping when they were out of earshot of the other students. Sarah took a deep breath before speaking. "Evelyn, I didn't want you to hear it from them, but it's true. Ryan was arrested last night. They caught him in a garage, apparently trying to deliver illegal substances." Evelyn's heart pounded, and her head felt like it was spinning. But that doesn't make sense. Why would he do something like that? He didn't seem like someone who'd get involved in something illegal." "I know," Sarah replied gently. "It doesn't make sense to me either, but the police must have had some reason to arrest him." Evelyn's thoughts raced, fragments of memories flashing through her mind. The sight of Ryan disappearing into the gas station garage, his mysterious words about the book. Sometimes things aren't exactly the way they seem. It all felt like pieces of a puzzle she couldn't quite put together. Sarah placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Listen, I know this is hard to believe, but whatever is going on with Ryan, it's not your fault, okay? Don't let Laura or anyone else make you feel that way." Evelyn nodded, though her mind was far from calm. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this story, something deeper that she didn't yet understand. As she looked down at the newspaper still clutched in her hand, a resolve began to grow within her. She didn't know what had happened, but she couldn't simply accept that Ryan was guilty without knowing the truth. The unspoken truth. Continued. Later that evening, Evelyn sat alone in her room, her mind still spinning from the events of the day. She couldn't wrap her head around everything that had happened: Ryan's arrest, Laura's taunting words, Sarah's comforting reassurance. It all felt surreal, like pieces of a puzzle she couldn't fit together. She picked up the book Ryan had given her, running her fingers over its cover, remembering his words about how it unlocked a lot for him. What exactly had he meant? Just then there was a knock at her door. Evelyn's younger sister, Mia, stepped in, holding a small envelope in her hand. "Hey, Evie," Mia said with a mischievous grin, waving the letter. "Is this from your boyfriend?" Evelyn felt her cheeks heat up. "He's not my boyfriend," she replied quickly, snatching the letter from Mia's hand. "Sure," Mia teased, rolling her eyes. "But you're blushing like he is." "Mia, go away," Evelyn said, her voice firm but softened by a slight smile. All right. I'll leave you to your boyfriend's letter." Mia laughed, backing out of the room and closing the door behind her. Once she was alone, Evelyn looked down at the envelope in her hands. Her heart beat faster as she carefully opened it, pulling out a small piece of folded paper. The handwriting was unmistakable. It was from Ryan. She took a deep breath and began reading. Evelyn, I know everything's been strange lately, and there are things you don't yet understand. My best moment was when I opened up to you under that old tree by the school. It felt like, for once, someone truly saw me. I don't expect you to understand everything yet, but I need you to know there's a lot inside that book I gave you. Things that can help you in life if you take the time to discover them. You're stronger and more determined than you realize, Evelyn. Don't let anyone make you doubt that. And whatever you do, please don't visit me. It's too risky, and I don't want you involved in any of this. Evelyn's eyes filled with emotion as she read Ryan's words, each sentence weighing on her heart. He was speaking in code, she could tell, but she understood enough to know he was warning her about something, maybe even trying to protect her. He saw something in her that she hadn't seen in herself, and for reasons she couldn't yet understand, he wanted her to be safe. She was so lost in thought that she didn't hear her mother enter the room. Evelyn? Her mother's voice broke through her thoughts, and Evelyn quickly folded the letter, slipping it into her book. Mom, you startled me, Evelyn said, her voice trembling slightly. Her mother gave her a curious look. You seemed deep in thought. I wanted to ask, did you know that boy from your school who got arrested? Evelyn swallowed, choosing her words carefully. Yes, I knew him. Not very well, though. Her mother nodded, her expression turning serious. I don't want to scare you, Evelyn, but be careful around people like that. You don't know what they're involved in. In fact, I think it's time I meet any friends you're spending time with. Maybe even meet his family if they're involved in your life. Mom, Evelyn protested, her heart racing. I'm serious, Evelyn, her mother continued, undeterred. I'll set it up. I just want to make sure you're safe and surrounded by the right people. Evelyn nodded, trying to mask her anxiety. As her mother left the room, she unfolded Ryan's letter again, reading it over, feeling a quiet determination growing within her. She didn't have all the answers yet, but one thing was certain. She wouldn't let fear or doubt stop her from discovering the truth, and somehow she knew the book in her hands held the key to it all. The next morning, Evelyn met Sarah at their usual spot by the lockers before class. She hadn't slept much, her mind spinning over the letter from Ryan. She clutched the note in her pocket, the words echoing in her mind. There's a lot inside that book I gave you that can help you. Sarah, I need to tell you something, Evelyn said, glancing around to make sure no one was listening. She pulled Sarah closer, lowering her voice. I got a letter from Ryan last night. He wrote things that felt like they were in code, like he was trying to tell me something. Sarah's eyes widened. What did he say? Evelyn hesitated, choosing her words carefully. He talked about how his best moment was opening up to me, and he mentioned the book he gave me, saying it has things that could help me. It's like he was leaving me clues. Sarah nodded slowly, her expression serious. Then we'll figure it out. If he wanted you to understand something, maybe he left hints in the book. We can look together. Evelyn felt a surge of gratitude, her nerves calming just a bit. Thank you, Sarah. I don't know what I'd do without you. They walked into the classroom, whispering quietly about their plan, when the door opened and the school principal stepped in. He cleared his throat, catching the attention of every student in the room. I wanted to speak with you all this morning, he began, his tone calm but firm. I know many of you are aware of what happened with Ryan and may have questions or concerns, but I want to assure you that everything will be fine, and you shouldn't let this weigh on you too heavily. The students exchanged uneasy glances, some murmuring to each other. Evelyn felt a strange pang in her chest. It was unsettling to hear Ryan being discussed like this, as if he were just a story, an incident to be managed. The principal continued, If any of you would like to talk about how you feel, our school therapist is available. We want you to feel safe and supported during this time. As he finished, he scanned the room and his eyes settled on Evelyn. Evelyn, could you come with me? Someone would like to see you. Evelyn felt a jolt of surprise, her mind racing. She glanced at Sarah, who gave her a reassuring nod. "Go," Sarah whispered. "I'll be here when you get back." Evelyn stood and followed the principal, her heart pounding with both nerves and curiosity. Evelyn followed the principal down the hallway, her mind racing. She couldn't think of anyone who would want to see her, especially with everything happening around Ryan. She felt a strange sense of unease and curiosity, her stomach twisting as they neared the office. Inside, a man stood by the window, his posture straight and composed. He turned as they entered, his gaze piercing yet calm. Evelyn immediately recognized him. It was Ryan's father. Her heart skipped a beat, her thoughts swirling. Why would Ryan's father want to speak to me? The principal gestured to Evelyn to take a seat. Ryan's father sat across from her, his expression softening slightly. "Evelyn, is it?" he asked, his tone polite but firm. "I'm Ryan's father." "Yes, sir," Evelyn replied, her voice barely above a whisper. He studied her for a moment, then asked, "Are you Ryan's girlfriend?" Evelyn hesitated, feeling her cheeks warm. "No, we're just friends." A slight smile appeared on his face. "You don't have to be afraid to admit it. I know my son has feelings for you." Evelyn's heart fluttered at his words, but she remained silent, unsure of how to respond. He leaned in slightly, lowering his voice. "Has Ryan reached out to you?" Evelyn blinked, caught off guard. "Reached out? How? Like through calls or letters?" "Yes." He nodded, his gaze intent. "He's a minor, and I told the authorities he should be allowed to communicate with friends and family at least once a week. Did he send you a letter?" Her heart pounded as she thought of the letter she'd received the previous night. She couldn't lie to him, but she didn't know what to say. Yes, he did, but it's just a letter for our friendship. Nothing more." Ryan's father watched her, his eyes narrowing slightly. "Would you mind showing me the letter?" Evelyn froze, her mind racing. "It's private," she said, choosing her words carefully. "It's just between friends. Why do you need to see it?" The principal, observing the tension, turned to Ryan's father. "What's this about?" Ryan's father let out a sigh, his gaze fixed on Evelyn for a moment before turning to the principal. "Nothing, really. I just wanted to make sure it was a genuine letter. Evelyn, if you receive anything unusual from Ryan, please don't hesitate to reach out to the principal." The principal gave Evelyn a reassuring nod. "You're dismissed, Evelyn. Thank you for your cooperation." Evelyn stood, glancing once more at Ryan's father, whose gaze remained unreadable. She exited the office feeling the weight of their conversation pressing down on her. Inside, the principal faced Ryan's father with a questioning look. "What's the meaning of this? Are you suggesting your son is involved in something with other students?" Ryan's father ran a hand over his face, his expression weary. "I can't say for sure, but anything is possible. I just want to be certain my son's name isn't dragged further through the mud." The principal frowned, leaning back in his chair. "Is there something you're not telling me?" Ryan's father shook his head. "Nothing definitive. I just need to rule out every possibility. Thank you for your time." With that, he stood and left, leaving the principal alone, deep in thought. Meanwhile, Evelyn lingered by the lockers, her mind spinning. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Ryan's letter than she'd realized. And now, with Ryan's father probing her, she was determined to uncover the truth, whatever it took.